Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Budur and today I'm going to cover the different types of machine learning and the most commonly used algorithms for each type. So there are two main types of machine learning modules, one called supervised learning and one called unsupervised learning. And there is also a third type called semi-supervised reinforcement learning, but it's not as commonly used as the two main types. So let's move to supervised learning. So in supervised learning, we're training the model using data that is labeled. What do we mean by labeled data? It means that the data set that we're using in training has the label or the output or the desired result within it. I might have like past data of 100 patients and all of them, like there's a lot of columns describing the features, like the test, the blood work, the MRI scans, the CT scans, and all of it. And at the end, we have the result. Does this patient has a cancer or not? Yes or no? So this form of data is an example of labeled data. And when we have labeled data and we are using it to train our model, this means that we're doing supervised learning. So in supervised learning, we are revolving around utilizing past data to predict future data. What do we mean by predicting future data? It means that I wanna predict if a new patient in the future that we didn't see before and we don't have any records of has a cancer or not. Okay, so mainly I am utilizing past data. What about unsupervised learning? The unsupervised learning, we are training with unlabeled data, meaning that I have unstructured raw data and I want to understand it. I want to know the pattern that this data is representing. I want to provide structure to it and derive insight out of it and know more about this data that doesn't contain any label or any output. So I am starting with the data to understand better the underlying format of it. So in unsupervised learning, we are training the model without the answers. And the main types of unsupervised learning tasks would be clustering, association, dimensionality reduction problems. Okay, so let's now move to the most commonly used algorithms for each type. Now, in supervised learning, where the most commonly used algorithms are linear regression, naive Bayes, decision trees, SVM, which stands for support vector machine, logistic regression, and k-nearest neighbor, which we call KNN. Okay, each one of these algorithms has its own implementation and its own use case, and we determine or pick our algorithm based on our data. So we start with data. That's the case that we have. That's where, and when we try to pick the algorithm that fits best the data and fits best the business problem that we have in our hand. Okay, and in unsupervised learning, the most commonly used algorithms are k-mean clustering. We basically pick a number called k, let's say k equals 3, and we cluster the data points into 3 clusters. Each cluster represents let's say a category. Like we want to cluster people into 3 main categories, okay, based on their let's say interests, based on their likes and dislikes, and so on. There is also principal component analysis, PCA. There is also anomaly detection and hierarchical clustering. Now, again, when we start training any model and we want to write machine learning program or code, we pick the algorithm based on the availability of the data that we have. The algorithm that we are picking is gonna like generate the answers that best describe or is gonna provide for us like the answer to my original goal or my original business problem. Okay, now let's move to the semi-supervised learning, and it's also called reinforcement learning. What do we mean by it? It's basically the case when we are trying to train a hybrid model, meaning we have a very small portion of data that is labeled, that has output that we know the answers for, and we have a huge chunk of data that is not labeled. We don't know the answers for it, but it's still from the same domain, and it's still about the same business case or the same like problem that or task that we are trying to solve. So what do? We train with the small portion of data, and we also combine it with the like the huge like amount of unlabeled data, and we are generating a hybrid model that is called semi-supervised or reinforcement learning. Reinforcement because we are trying to enforce learning based on a very small amount of data, and we're making up for it with the availability of the same data that's unlabeled but about the same domain and the same task. Now, let's take a look at the screen, the illustration that you see on the screen by Ricro Lu or Ricro I. Okay, so to summarize, supervised learning is a task-driven scenario, meaning that we start already knowing what we are trying to predict or to classify or to obtain out of the data. So we wanna classify, divide, like we wanna get the label of the data. We wanna get the like which class the people belong to, which country they are from, or whatever is my problem. And let's say regression. We wanna predict the basketball match score. That's a regression example. But like the logic behind supervised learning is that we're starting knowing what we are trying to achieve. So it's a task-driven, problem-driven scenario. In the meantime, unsupervised learning, we are starting like data-driven. So we have a data about a certain problem, and we want to understand it. We want to generate patterns for it. We want to get insight out of it, and we want to move it or convert it from unstructured to structured data by our algorithm or by our machine learning model. So it's mainly a data-driven approach, like scenario. As I said before, there are like an example of it would be like clustering, association, and dimensional reduction. All right. So in summary, supervised learning is a task-driven approach. We are creating predictions and predicted models. Unsupervised learning is more of a data-driven approach, and we are trying to generate patterns and structure to recognize and better understand our data. Okay, and one thing and the semi-supervised is a, hybrid of these two. When we come across a scenario where we have a small portion of labeled data and a huge portion of unlabeled, huge chunk of unlabeled data. All right, so this is it, guys, for today. In the next class, I'm going to show you how to write your very first machine learning module, and we're gonna implement it in Python, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you benefit from it. Please make sure to support by liking and subscribing to the channel to not miss any video, and see you in the next class. Thank you.